Chapter 10. How not to conduct an investigation. I'm up! I can walk! Almost. Actually feels more like my leg has turned into a log and I'm hauling a large bit of tree trunk around. Paul, he's the physio, he says, I'll soon get used to it. My mum said that about Christmas cake. I told him, and I still can't stand the stuff. I think you'll find a broken leg is a bit different from Christmas cake, he answered. And there he is, he's up and about. Good old Jack. He's given me lots of exercises to do to help me build up my leg muscles. It's almost like PE at school, except that Mrs. Fetlock isn't here to slave drive me. She's just a maniac when it comes to PE. She joins him with everything, which is fine most of the time, but sometimes we have piggyback races. I'll leave it to your imagination. At least I'm back on my feet. I meant foot. I have to use crutches. Don't tell anyone, but they're quite fun once you get used to them. They're good for poking things. The other advantage to being allowed up is that I can wear ordinary clothes. My mum laughed when I got my favourite baggy jeans out a few months ago, but they're brilliant if your leg's in plaster. Anyway, I'm out of pyjamas at last. I feel much more like a person, I suppose. Maybe that's why I don't like being in hospital. You end up feeling like an object, like something has to be wrapped and unwrapped and cleaned and tidied and sorted. Next time your mum or dad says to you, time you're out of bed, come on, get up, just remember, you can actually do that. You can get up. Most people in hospital can't. It's been a great morning. When the doc had seen me, he left me sitting on the bed and went across to Kirsty and examined her chart. He went to her side and took her pulse. He pulled back both eyelids and shone the little torch into her pupils. Then he told her to stick out a tongue and say, ah. When he walked to her bed, and he walked around the bed, took her pulse from her other arm. By this time, Princess Lala looked positively queasy. She was sure it was bad news. The doctor showed the chart to Patricia, pointing out something, and Tricia nodded gravely. And there we are, doctor examining, and she does look a bit queasy. They whispered together, and Tricia raised her eyebrows. That is so terribly sad, she exclaimed in a loud voice for everyone to hear. Kirsty almost collapsed to the floor on the spot. Her round eyes were fixed to the doctor. She slid down into the bed, pulling the covers up to her chin, as if she were trying to hide from the ghastly truth. What is it? What's wrong? The doctor took her hand, patted it gently, and gave her a pitying look. I'm afraid it's bad news. What is it? According to your chart here, you're dead. Princess Lala sat bolt upright and gave an anguished wail. She began. She stopped mid-word. She collapsed back into her pillow. You could almost hear the clippity-clack of her eyebrows as they knitted themselves into a furious frown. That's a horrible trick. How could you? She demanded. The doctor shrugged. I didn't, but somebody's been tinkering with your chart. Look at the wiggly line here. It shows your temperature. You see where it changes colour? Someone has taken a pen and added a bit extra. So according to this, your temperature is for over 50 degrees centigrade. This means your blood would have boiled and you would probably have exploded. Very messy. The doctor eyed Liam and me. Very funny. And when I tell my colleagues, they'll laugh themselves silly. However, it was a stupid and dangerous thing to do. Never fiddle with these charts. They are for only staff. I don't want to know who did this. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that you understand how serious this could have been. It won't happen again, will it? Liam and I mumbled our agreement, and he gave a nod. Good. That's the end of the matter. Just one thing, nurse. Do you think you could resuscitate Kirsty? A glass of fruit juice should be sufficient. Everybody laughed except Princess Lala, who sat there looking like